How's it going, guys? Thought I'd go live. Talk today about what the title says. How to improve your bad diet, overcome anxiety, social anxiety, fear. I've made some notes here. I made these notes earlier before I went to the gym today and had a coffee, just so I could outline what I've learned and what I wanted to pass on and teach to guys who are interested. I will make a point of saying I'm not telling anybody that they should eat healthy. That's your choice. You live the life the way that you're going to live it. But I am going to teach what I've learned. And for those that are asking and they want the advice, I'm going to do my job and enjoy what I do and teach and share it. So if you're new to the channel and you don't like the things I'm talking about, then you don't have to stay on the channel. You got your own free will to leave. Because I know diet is it's one of the most sensitive subjects to talk amongst people, especially if people don't have a good diet and they're not ready to change it and look at that. Hold on a sec, make sure this stream's working. Like I've said before, coming from the fearless events, the social events, which I love, and teaching in person, to the live streams, it's really it's a huge downgrade. I'm still grateful for it anyway. I'm always grateful for things, but just pointing out, I'm really happy, but I'm not that enthusiastic when I do these live streams because, in all honesty, I don't find them challenging. They don't really give me anxiety, which is probably a sign that it's not great in a positive way. But I still do them once in a while because I know that they do help people. Not everybody is ready to take coaching with me and to come to the Phyllis event and meet people in person. I understand it is scary and daunting when you're suffering with fear and anxiety. So everyone's going to go at their own pace, which is fine. All right, I'm just looking at what I've wrote down here. It's funny because I didn't expect many people to come on this stream today because of the title. The word diet usually does this to me. I was like this myself until I changed, right? So I'm not judging anyone. I'm just stating facts. When you say the word diet, a lot of people do that. I mean, they don't want to hear it. And, that's a place that people can be at. And I was at that place all my life pretty much until something changed in me in 2021 when I realized that my diet was dreadful and I was obese. I put on weight, and I come to realize that I've been in denial for many years about diet. So I changed it, and I've loved doing it. But that was something that I wanted to do. No one told me to do that. And I think that's a big part of what I'm teaching people today is that it's got to be you. You've got to want to do it. How many people probably told you in your life, your mum, your dad, or your school teachers, or your mentor has said to you, diet's important, what you are, what you eat, and your health and how you feel about yourself. But people know that, but actually doing it is a whole different ballgame. So I read a note here, right? When you get your diet right, you get your life right. And you can kind of understand that. Bad diet is the cause of unhappiness, /apostrophe, which is the cause of not taking action on your fears. That's what I've learned in my own experience in life and helping people, that a poor diet goes much deeper than just eating some cakes or some McDonald's or junk food. If it's continuous for a long time, it's underlining an issue, and that issue is always fear, anxiety, trauma, always around that area. I've also wrote here, this can also be known as not living your life authentically. So the pain of not, being yourself and, performing to the best of your ability and giving more, that comes with a price. It definitely comes with a price. If you guys are posted in the comment section, I can't see anything. If you've got any questions, but let me just make sure. I've always got to check because it don't always work on YouTube. So that Sorry, I misspelled that. I was trying to become fearless. So that's working. But if any of you got questions, it's not coming up unless you haven't posted anything. So I've got to check just to make sure. So if you've got questions or anything you want to add, leave it in the chat box. So where was I? Yeah. So anxiety and depression and comfort eating. This is true for everyone at some point. This was true for me until I changed it. When you feel down, down, depressed, a bit fed up. How you doing, Gray? You eat sugar to get that emotional high. I learned this about myself for many years, right? Most of you are going to know this, but it's good maybe to lay it out. Laying down and watching movies whilst eating chocolates, crisps, fizzy drinks is a way to escape your problems / and numb your pain. It's all been true. Right. So that's just some briefings that I wrote. Now, in my experience, the solution, I've physically done this myself successfully, the solution to overcoming a bad diet and anxiety and fear and, mental health challenges and negative thoughts is boxing training. Simple as it sounds, boxing training is one of the solutions. And the reason being, boxing builds self-esteem. What's the other notes that I wrote on why self-esteem is so important? Where is that? Come on, where is that? That's strange. Definitely wrote it earlier on. It's really weird. Where's it disappeared? That's all right. I think I can memorize it anyway. No problem. Okay, so why is self-esteem important? Well, boxing gives you self-esteem. Self-esteem gives you the strength. It gives you the discipline. It gives you the motivation to resist eating bad food. So, like I said, when it comes to things like social anxiety or any fear or phobia, the general human reaction is to want to avoid it and not face it because it doesn't feel comfortable and it's frightening and it brings up your insecurities and your fears of other people possibly judging you or you feeling that. So every time you might feel bad about yourself or any time you're trying to, coax yourself into facing your fears, it's a lot easier to say, I can't deal with that right now. I need to eat a Mars bar, or I need to eat some Pringles crisps, or I need some chocolates, or I need a McDonald's meal, or takeaways, or junk, or fizzy drinks. So it's like it's a defense mechanism. It's a way of coping. So deep down, there's unhappiness. You're not happy in your life because it's like you're not being all you can be. You're not doing positive things or more things. And that's going to play at your conscience. It goes without saying. So you feel bad because you feel bad. You feel bad because you don't go out and face your social anxiety and interact with people. You feel bad because you don't, go out and face the fears of starting your own business or living your dreams or going to the gym. So there's a constant consequences of I feel bad because I know deep down I'm not being disciplined and that's affecting my self-esteem. I feel bad because I'm thinking about negative things all the time. I'm thinking about my past. I'm thinking about my future. I'm thinking about how I feel about myself, which isn't good, in all honesty, right? That's the mindset that people are in. So the food is a way of I want to feel something good. I want to feel some good emotions, and it's almost like I don't care if the consequences are putting on weight or bad cholesterol or bad health right now because I just want to feel good now. So it's a quick fix. It's a quick fix to a long-term disaster. So you can really see that I speak from experience. I used to be in that mindset. I'm not there no more because I didn't want to be there anymore. Now I'm in a great place. My diet is really good and I'm in fantastic shape. And I want to help other men who want to do it to succeed. And that's why I've been putting out the boxing videos because I love boxing. I love all this. I love dieting. I love boxing. I love being disciplined. I like facing my social fears. I like teaching people how to do it. I like getting uncomfortable and growing. So I'm really passionate about this. I love it. So it's I want to share that love and passion and share elements of my story so people can really understand that they can do anyone can do this, I'm nothing special. Anyone can do it because I did it. If I can do it, then anybody can definitely do it. Because I always used to think I can't do it. As the relationship I had with food, I always used to see other people and think, how do they do it? I can't relate to it. It's like they're not human. They got these great bodies. They look healthy. They eat healthy. How don't they eat cakes? Because I love cakes, sugars, Jaffa cakes, ice cream, takeaways, burgers. My diet was dreadful. The reason why I got away with it for many years because I always did have a fast metabolism. I worked out a lot, so I had a good body um, for about maybe for around a 6 year period. But of course, it caught up with me. Obviously, you get older. When I hit 30, 31, the belly started coming slowly. And then, of course, when I had the mental health breakdown in 2017, massive weight came on. I went up to, heavyweight. I went up to 215 pounds, 96 kilos, which is too heavy for me. And it wasn't in muscle. It was really horrible. That's how I didn't like it. So I've lost 25 pounds over the course of around, I don't know the exact date, so I don't want to exaggerate. So I'm going to say longer. It probably is shorter, but it's around 6 months. And that's why I've been putting out the videos. That's your choice, man. I can't tell you what to do. See, you got to make your decision. I mean, I can't tell you whether to use Facebook or Instagram. It depends. It depends on it. Are you happy? Do you enjoy the platforms? But to be fair, Said, that's not really what I'm talking about today. Try and keep questions on this topic of social anxiety, diet, fear, unless that was right. That is part of it. But there are certain questions, guys, that you've got to answer. I can't live for you. So there's no indefinite answer to that. So where was I? So yeah, back to my point. What I will say is, right, this has been an eye opener. What's changed everything for me and made this easier and enjoyable throughout is the place that I've come from. Because generally, the general narrative was with a lot of people is um, uh, growing up, I would always hear people saying, "Oh, I've got a diet, hate dieting, or I broke my diet." So it was very, very negative. And when you hear a consistent narrative, if the majority of people say that dieting is hard and it's miserable, then you're going to start believing it. But I disproved that for myself by dieting. Dieting for me hasn't been hard, if I'm being honest. It hasn't. I've loved it. I absolutely loved it and got results of it. And I think the reason being because I had a bad diet for so many years. And that was hard. Living with the consequences of a bad diet, massive amounts of spending. I had a terrible relationship with spending money on crap food. So finances were always in a bad place. Even when my finances were great, and the money was coming in from business, lots of it was going out on junk food. I had such a bad addiction, honestly. And then the health problems, having diarrhea all the time, having stomach problems, being up 1 minute, being down another minute, being energetic 1 minute down, having sleeping problems, panic, anxiety, all consequences of bad eating. So coming to the place I'm at now, transitioning, hasn't been hard. But I want to say this as well, right? That doesn't mean that you can't have some cake once in a while. Of course you can. Of course you can have things in moderation. When you live a healthy life and you eat healthy for most days, of course you can eat some junk food, once a week or so. You don't have to be completely rigid. Batman's nephew, Johnny, just wanted to say massive thanks out to you for your years of work helping regular guys out. You're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. So I guess what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get guys to feel good about this diet and this training because it's been a good experience for me. I can't obviously guarantee that it's going to be great for you guys because obviously you're your own person, right? And everybody's different. I would say, Brad, the answer to that question again is really the place you're at. You've got to look at yourself, and I mean, not in a judgmental way, but you've got to be honest and say, well, if your conversations are not going well, then what's going on with you? That's why I'm trying to get guys to look at your diet, look at your lifestyle, have a look at that, work on that, and you're going to see the other stuff improve. Oh, nice. That's good. Appreciate you adding your insight. RJ Flores says the standard government recommended diet is BS. Okay. They advocate 300 grams of carbs. Okay. Essential fats are very essential like salmon. All right. Fair enough. Um, I like being alone and doing things at my own, but I feel yet lonely sometimes. I'm scared to ask my friends to come over to hang. I have social anxiety and I don't want to make it awkward for them. Really appreciate your honesty, first of all. Well done. I really respect you for that. Well done. That takes a lot of courage what you've done. So it says a lot about your character. I understand. I'd recommend you, if you're asking me for my help, my opinion, I recommend that you just gradually, without overwhelming yourself, to start gradually going out and exposing yourself to friends and things like that, and just do it one step at a time. People with social anxiety put too much pressure on themselves usually. So I had social anxiety. If you knew my story as well, I still have anxiety pretty much every day, but I deal with it very well. So you just want to start. Like I said, I'll tell you what, right? I don't know if you're new to my channel. It's the first time I've met you. Subscribe to my channel. Look at some of my other videos on social anxiety. I give you all of the teachings in that, right? Because if I go over it now, it might take a little bit long. But I'd say, yeah, you do exposure therapy, which is a therapy where basically you expose yourself to talking to friends and people, but you do it at a pace that you can handle, you know. And then when you feel more confident and ready, you can invite your friends to come over and hang out with you. That's how you could do it. And I don't know what your lifestyle's like, but if you work on that and you go gym and you work on your hobbies and being positive, it will give you some more confidence. It will make it a bit less awkward, but it's not a quick fix. Like I said to people, it takes a bit of time. You've got to be patient. And you just got to not quit and persevere. And you can do it, Cohen. You can definitely do it. I've done it. Many of my clients have, many people that followed me. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not going to be comfortable all times. It's going to be scary. It's going to be awkward. We've all got to go through that. Just know that I had to go through the same things you're going through. But if you go through it, then you'll make progress with it. But it's a step-by-step thing. How you doing, Timmy? All right, mate. So, yeah, that's what I've learned with a lot of things is that a lot of people by nature, especially anxiety-related issues, everybody wants to solve their anxiety in one day. Everyone wants to be great. It don't work like that for anyone. That's just, that's in the movies. That's marketing at its worst. The reality is habits take time. Bad habits take time to erase from your life. Good habits take time to build. But if you change your mindset of time and effort and how long it's going to take and how hard it's going to be, and you get excited about it, then it's not a problem. Mr. Flores says, after age 30, alcohol must be massively limited if you want energy, vitality, and more motivation. I now limit it to once a month. Good for you. Yeah, I like your attitude. It's good. It's good. If you're doing that, and I trust that you are doing that, you're not just saying that, good for you. Yes, I've seen a lot of your videos. I've watched you since 2 years. I appreciate that. Thank you. I didn't recognize, you got a nice picture there. I didn't recognize your name because obviously I'm not going to remember every single person that follows me, but usually I remember a lot of them. So I appreciate that. Thank you for following me. Oh, great. You work out, well done, and you're studying to become a PE teacher. That's great. That's fantastic. Good luck with that. I'm doing that to overcome my fear of talking to people. Thanks. That's it. You just reminded me, right? This is what helps people. It's what helped me. You need a reason to get over your social anxiety, and Cohen is you've done that. So without a reason, you won't be motivated to do it. That goes for anything, right? How you doing, Sasha? Good to see you. It's funny, because when you don't enjoy something, like let's say for example socializing, because it's awkward, it's because of your social fear, anxiety. When you don't enjoy it, time seems to go on forever because it's not pleasant, or dieting or training. But when you enjoy things, which takes time and it's a certain mindset, it's a switch, and sometimes it just comes naturally. When you enjoy things, the time goes like that, it just speeds up. So I guess we're all learning something today. If you can find a way to enjoy, see, this is what I'm teaching at the moment on the programs. I'm working with clients at the moment who have got social anxiety. They're really improving a lot. And I keep saying to them, if you change the mindset from this is hard, this is awkward, I don't want to be around people, I'm scared. If you change it to this is how I'm going to grow. Yeah, it's hard. We're not denying that. We're not lying about that. We're not being in denial. Emotionally, mentally, it is hard. Social anxiety, facing it, it's hard. It's hard for it. It's still hard for me as well. But the more you practice it, the better you get, and the better you get, the actual difficulty to a large degree doesn't change, but you change. Your mentality changes, your self-esteem, your strength, your discipline. So let me just explain that again. Difficult, these concepts, great. If something's hard, but you change as a person, it's hard, but it's not the same as it was when you once did it. Does that make sense? So effectively, going out and running is hard. It's not easy, right? It's grueling. But if you get fitter, if you lose weight and you get your mind sharper and you get more confident and passionate, the running's still hard, but it's easier because you've got better. And that's a big part of transforming with the anxiety, the fear, the shyness, the social anxiety, the awkwardness. The better you get as a young man or man of any age, the more you can handle it. It never fully goes away. I've said that before. People think that when you get to a certain level and you're successful, even if maybe they look at me like that, but my anxiety, it just doesn't go away completely for no one, but it gets easier over time. The more you do it, the less of it you have, and the more you can manage it. So I just want to make a point of saying that, because a lot of people might be under the illusion that, that all of a sudden they're just going to completely get rid of it. And it ain't like that. You got to remember, right? We're brave on this channel. We actually admit what we've had and what we all still battle with, which is social anxiety. But there's millions of people around the world have it, but they don't admit it. I mean, everybody has it. Every human being who's living and breathing is going to have a fear of new people. You're going to have it. Some people have it more than others, and some people deal with it better than others. If you know my story, first half of my life, I was in the category of people who had social anxiety, didn't deal with it well, avoided people, only stayed with a small social circle until that got depressing. It made me so depressed, feel awful about myself. I changed the second half of my life. I went out and faced everything: public speaking, starting a business, dating. I just meetups, groups, friends, family, interviews, phone calls, jobs. I just went into everything I could, selling, business, and it changed me as a person. And I became more confident. I started obviously doing events. So I know for a fact that any of you can do it because I did it. And it's like, well, if I can do it, no different to you. Yeah, we got different personalities. We got different education. We had different parents. We might have lived in a different place. But we have a commonality. We're human. And, same thing. Yeah, that Cologne was lovely. I enjoyed that, man. It's interesting that you guys are saying that. I'm going to make a video on that, and I've got a lot to say on that. I've learned, obviously, I'm always learning, and I learn a lot from listening to my clients. And a lot of them have said that to begin with, that, a lot of you are saying that you prefer to be alone. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? As I always try to be, I don't think you're being fully honest when you say that. I think you are being honest to a certain extent, but I know where that comes from, because a big part of that is the fear speaking itself. It's like, I'd rather be on my own than challenge myself. But let's be honest, right? Let me just reiterate that, right? So yes, you're being honest, but there's a little bit of denial there. If you're around people who you like and you feel comfortable with and you don't feel awkward with them, do you prefer being alone or do you prefer being with people like that? Of course, you're going to say with people you feel comfortable with. And I understand it being, I'm like you guys to begin with, in many ways. We're very similar. I'm a natural introvert. I can easily spend weeks on my own and not interact with people and find a happy space. But if I'm being honest with myself, that's only to a certain extent. If I keep doing that, I'm going to be in darkness again. So I think you've got to get a middle ground, and there's some denial, as there would be going on. It's because no one, no one is really deep down in their heart going to enjoy being on their own all the time. If they're saying that, they might not even realize that they're not being honest with themselves. That's part of a defense mechanism. I know, because I had it. I recognize it, and I work with people who overcome it. Sorry to hear that, but at the same time, happy for you that you had the breakup, which is never nice. But later on, it can be a blessing, and you're in the gym. Well done. The kickboxing, can't. That's brilliant. Um, you got to be careful. That's a very dangerous in a conversation. I had it where, and many people have it, and I'm not knocking anyone for it, but I really want to help you, because trust me, I understand it. Where you come up with a narrative and say, do you know what? Don't like being around people. Don't like people. Don't feel comfortable around people. People bother me, or they're not nice. I'd rather be on my own. I understand that, because I've went through that myself. But that's not healthy long term, because we all need. It's not like we all need someone, but in a healthy way, we all need each other. To share, because you know, even if you had millions of pounds and you had everything, after a while on your own, you'd be depressed. You'd want to give half of it away. You'd want to share it with someone. So I just thought I'd point that out. I'm going to make a video on that. I got a lot more to say on it. But yeah, that's the social anxiety speaking itself. That's not even any of you. Trust me. Trust me. I'm willing to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'm not scared of being wrong, but I think I'm right. That's the anxiety speaking. And that's the protection. That's the protective mechanism. It's like, I'd rather be on my own. I'd rather be on my own than be awkward around people, because that's not a nice feeling. And I get that. But if you change the mindset, if you ask me personally, I'd rather be around people and feel intimidated, anxious, nervous, awkward. I'd rather feel all that than be in darkness where I used to be. Thank God I'm not there anymore, but I've been there. Than be on my own all the time. But be on my own in a bad place. Not good for any man. But listen, I will say this, right? Balance in everything in life. If you socialize quite regularly, then time on your own is lovely. Like, I love time on my own, after I've worked with clients in person and met up with friends, family, because I've done my socializing, I've gone out, I've connected, I've had that connection. And now it's like, I like to have my own space. So then, I don't know. But I'm going to do a video on that. I'm glad that you guys brought that up because it's another thing that I need to talk about. It's a tough one, that, that's I went through that, so I can totally relate to it, and I come out the other side where you get to a point in your life where you just kind of stop. You just stop interacting with people. You lose hope. You don't really want to be around people no more because you kind of feel that I'd probably rather be on my own. Now, look, I understand. Now, if it was a question of being on my own or being around negative, toxic people, I'll be on my own because that's not healthy. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But like I said earlier, looking at the best truths possible, a man being on his own all the time, as opposed to being around good, positive people that you can get along with, it's a no-brainer. Another thing I've learned about people, I'm still learning it. That's what's so fascinating about people, is that it never ends. Is that most people, if you force people and you push them too much and you put pressure on them, people won't want to do it. They won't want to meet up. That goes for dating, that goes for friends, family, in general, events. I've noticed that with my events, which I don't, because I've learned, if I push people too much to come to my event, I'm not saying no one's going to come. There's always someone, but most people won't come to my event because they're going to feel like I'm pushing them, and they're not going to like that. So I put the invitation out. I let people know, but I do it in a very gentle way. And I always say this: you don't have to come to my event. You're very welcome to come. No pressure at all. If you want to come, you've got a safe space there. You'll have a good time. Or if you do come and you don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to take that personal. I understand. You can leave whenever you want. Now more people are coming to the event because they don't feel pressured by me. But in the same way, you've got to take that pressure off of yourself to go and meet people. So it's complicated, this thing. It really is, but I love the challenge of it. And I said this to a client. I'm just being honest. I'm not bigging myself up, but I am confident in my ability. I said, I would not be able to do the confidence coaching with guys if I didn't go through social anxiety, mental health challenges. I could do it to a certain extent because I like teaching and I always like helping good people, but I wouldn't come from actually knowing what it's like, because I come from that place and I know how hard it can be, and I know the complexities and what it's like. I know, and then it makes it easier for me to teach, and it's so that's a blessing. So that's why I kind of know all of these little kind of, like, I don't know what the word is, but there's all these little predicaments, like what you guys said earlier, which I can relate to, which is you'd rather be on your own than be around people. But I think it's all about time, and it's all about when you're ready, when you feel ready to come out and start, meeting people and facing your fear. But I'm a big believer in gradual, step by step. Not everybody's ready to come out into the world and start speaking to people. It's not easy for people. It can do that, but hopefully my videos can. I hope I can change that for you if I can. If you want me to help you. But social anxiety can ruin your life. Fear can do that. Fear can be your best friend or your worst enemy. I said it to a guy I'm working with, my client on my 6 weeks confidence program. I said, look, fear can be one of two things. It can be your best friend if you use it in the right way. If you don't use it and you let it use you and terrify you and keep you on your own, it's going to be your worst enemy. And then he's realizing that he's improving a lot. One good thing that we've all got to be proud of, and you guys have got to be proud of today, the courage to be honest about it. I mean, that really shows a lot. It takes a lot of character. It's not an easy thing to do. It wasn't easy for me. It's a lot easier now because I've been teaching and talking about my story for a long time, and I've come to a place where I feel good about myself, and I can be more comfortable talking about it. But I remember a time when it would have been impossible for me to admit these things and talk about it. So well done, guys. It's a good start. It's not everything, but it's a lot. But my question is, I'll ask it to all of you. You can answer if you want. I mean, do you want to improve at this? Do you want to break out of this? And that's an answer that you'll have to, not only you can answer. Because like I said, I can't force any of you to face your social anxiety. I can't force you to face your fears. I haven't got the power to do that. I can tell you my story and share you the things that I've learned and what I've worked. And if that motivates you, then that will be great. But if you don't want to do it, then that's fine. Not a problem at all. I think that's the best feeling though. If you come home from a social event, 100%. So it's a great feeling, isn't it? It's one of the best feelings in the world. When you go to a social event, you face your social anxiety, you make it, you get home that day and everything just feels brilliant. Your food tastes good, you feel great because you faced your fear. And that's the incentive to do it. That's why I share my story with people. Because what you figured out there, Cohen, is what I figured out and what I've been figuring out for years. And the more I do it, and that's the joy of teaching and seeing clients experience that. That's the driving force. That's what gives you the confidence, is the satisfaction that you get and what comes with that, and how that builds a momentum into your life and how that affects you as a person, how you feel about yourself. Because it's very, it's very simple. Look, I don't feel, I'm just making a point. I'm not saying this about myself or any of you, but it's an example. I don't feel good about myself because I didn't go to the social event, versus I feel good about myself today because I went to a social event despite being scared, and I met people, and whether it was awkward, and I went and did something. So the sense of achievement plays on psychology, positive or negative, based on your habits. Right, I understand. Yeah. Well, I'd say the same for for Mr. Cook and Cohen duets. You both want to gradually move into your fears. I'm not saying that you got to do all of it next week or tomorrow, but just start. Start as quick as you can, and it will get easier. You're welcome, Timmy. It's a pleasure, man. Appreciate your kind words, man. Same back to you. So you just do it gradually. That's how I did it. If you do it gradually, then you can break that monster down. But if you try and take on that monster in your head, it's hard. It is hard mentally, but it's easy when you break it down and you come at it with a strategy. And the strategy I teach and I'm explaining today, and what I did and what I still do, is you do a little bit each time until it gets easier. So if you're playing a video game, you're not expected straight away. Well, maybe some people are. You're not expected to get to level 15 in an hour. Maybe you're going to get to level 3 and then get stuck there for a bit and then leave it, have a break, come back to the video game a week later when you're a bit more relaxed and you've got a different perspective, and then you have a go at it. You get to level 4 or 5, and then a month later you're on level 7, and then 2 months later you're really good, you're on level 10. So it's a gradual thing. It's not an overnight thing. You must get that out of your head, because that's going to hold you back. When you're in your mindset and you say, I've got social anxiety, I've got fear, I've got to overcome this in a week or in a day, you ain't going to do it. It's not possible. You have to say, right, let me improve this. Let's gradually do it. Let's build a habit. Let's get used to being around people. Just to let you guys know anyway, like I said, there's not any pressure at all. I've got the next Phyllis social event is on February the 20th. So if you want to come along, you're very welcome to come. Send me an email, and you're welcome to decline it if you don't feel ready and you're too nervous and you're not feeling it. Not a problem at all. I totally understand. But I just thought I'd let you guys know. Thank God, touch wood, lately it's always been filling up. We've had a small group, which I absolutely love it. I love the event. I'll just tell you a bit about it. I won't drag it out. It's basically every month we meet up in central London in a small group, including me, probably about 6 of us. Um, and we meet, we greet each other. Hey, how you doing? How are you? How's your day? And then we go to like a nice social place, nice environment. It is an Irish pub, but the people there are nice. Um, we don't drink alcohol because it's in the daytime, right? And we sit down, we get a tea or coffee or whatever people soft drink, whatever people drink, and we sit down and I have a chat with everyone like this, and everyone has a chat, and people can ask me questions, but it's a social, it's a social event, and it's easy going. I'm not there with a clipboard telling you you need to do this, you need to do that. I don't deal with that in that way. I mean, if somebody pays me for mentorship, then there's going to be more of a coaching approach. But with a fearless event, there is some coaching in there, but it's very, very subtle. It's more like I enjoy bringing you good people together so you can interact with one another, and I enjoy interacting with you as well. I don't exclude myself from this. It helps me. It helps me to help all of you. I love it. The energy's great. Nobody's judged. I have one rule: everybody respect one another, which everyone usually always does. And anything that you need to get off your chest, you can get off your chest. Anything that's stressing you out, and if you have questions, you can ask me in person, and we have a good time. It's nice, and we do that for about 2 hours, and then we leave. So it's simple, but it works great. What's up, Chris? That's great, man. Yeah, it's good, and it is an emotional thing. I do understand. It's very emotional. This, people that haven't gone for it won't understand, but I've gone for it, so I understand it. It does make you cry sometimes. It does, because you've got to face a lot when you do this, but you ain't just. It's not just you're not just going to cry and be sad. There's a lot of happiness that comes with the journey. But it's like any journey, there's ups and downs, but you just got to not quit and stick at it. And we all have bad days with our anxiety. I still get bad days, but the difference for me personally is I'm a lot stronger at managing my bad days, not beating myself up. I always take a lesson. There's a blessing and a lesson from every bad day. Or if I have a bad social situation where I feel I was awkward there, or I couldn't be myself, or I think, okay, move on. I've been good many times. What can I learn from it? How can I be a bit better next time? And then it's over. Bang. Yeah, I understand. I understand. I grew up in a council estate as well. Many of us have succeeded from there, and I'm not being big-headed again, but I'm proof you can do it. Look at where I've come from, and I wouldn't be the person I am if I didn't grow up on a council estate. So it's not all negative, but yeah, I definitely grew up and felt the way that you did, Flores, in my 20s. I felt like that all throughout. Same feeling that you had until I really worked on myself and changed it. But it took time. But yeah, good, man. Chris, you're doing good. You're sticking with these events. That's why I had a really good weekend. Saturday, went to a volleyball match, sat there, watched it, spoke to people. Well done. You're doing great, man. You're really sticking at these things, man. Um, Guys, I'm just going to make a point of saying, right? Um, Hold on. Chris, I'm going to give you one bit of advice, right? Because you've asked me, because you're doing well. One step at a time, Chris. One step at a time. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going out to the events. Keep socializing. Keep talking to guys and girls. Speak to both. You want to be social. You don't just want to speak to women. You're not going to fulfill your full potential. I'm just speaking out for everyone. Get comfortable with both. Get comfortable talking to guys and women, and practice honesty, No manipulation, no tricks, all that kind of stuff. It's not what I teach. I don't think it's going to help. You're not going to, everyone's choice. And, just relax as best as you can, and then it will get better. But yeah, just coming back in a circle, right? Originally, what I said, I don't know what your diets are like. I'm going to tell you guys, do this, do that. If you're asking me, I'm sharing what works. If you improve your diet, you will notice that your social anxiety will improve. Now, some people might say, how's that work then? What's diet got to do with socializing? Well, what you eat affects how you feel. If I eat bad food and I feel bad now, and then I do this live stream and I talk to all of you, I'm going to be speaking to you from a place of depression and not feeling good about myself. It's going to come across. If I eat good food that makes me feel good, which I did, and I'm going to eat more of, I'm feeling good about who I am. I feel energetic, positive. It's going to come across. So of course, diet affects social anxiety. Of course, it affects self-esteem and confidence. So we've all got an advantage to work on these areas and improve them. And again, it's a gradual thing. I gradually improved my diet. I gradually lowered my social anxiety. Gradually learned to speak to people. It's just stick at it, and have a goal. Yeah, we all get that, Chris. Everyone gets it. It's important that everyone gets it. I get that. We all get down days. I don't. Anyone who says they don't is lying. Doesn't matter how much you got. It doesn't matter. Everyone gets it, but it's how you deal with it. That's the difference. And it's it's choosing to see what I do. When I get a down day, I get grateful for what I have. I know that I'm going to have a good day again. I look for positives. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind taking some vitamins D. A bit healthy. I bought some. I see what I bought today. Funny you said that, right? I don't have loads, but I like these personally. I bought these from Holland and Barrett, right? Because my mum gave me some from another place. These are vitamins, right? So you just put one in a glass of water, and it's got zinc, vitamin C, and they're nice. So I don't mind taking a couple of healthy things. I wouldn't just rely on it though. Your diet's got to be good. Yeah, exactly. You notice the food affects how you feel. You're doing a lot right, Chris. Obviously, you can do more. You're showing up. You're going to these volleyball events, and you're getting around people. And I'm sure you're in a better place now than where you was when I spoke to you a year and a half ago, because you've been taking more action, and that's the key to this. That's a big part of it. Um, Yes, mindset, if you change your mindset, you can approach things differently, and things that are initially difficult can become exciting. That's really what you've got to do with social anxiety. You've got to turn the anxiety into excitement. You've got to turn the social awkwardness into excitement. I know that sounds like, oh, how can you do that? You can do it. I'm doing it. Been doing it for many years, and I teach people how to do it. First of all, you got to want to do it. You got to be open-minded, and you got to persevere. You got to practice, and you got to train, and you got to build that habit. So again, it takes time, practice it every day, and you got to sort of change the language and how you say it. Instead of saying, "Oh, I have social anxiety. I don't like being around people." You say, I have social anxiety. Being around people isn't always easy for me, but I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to get around people, and I'm going to go through the awkwardness and whatever it is, and I'm going to come out the other side better. And I'm not going to quit until I get there. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to succeed and better myself. That's such a different in mentality, and you can get to that by wanting to get to that. Most of the success of this comes down to wanting it. The clients that I work with who succeed, they want it so bad, and it makes it easier to work with them. But some people don't want it bad enough, and I can't really help them that much. It's kind of difficult to help someone who doesn't really want it, because you can't force someone, right? Even when you're trying to do good, you can't. What can you do? You have to accept people's decision. I got no interest in it. To answer your question, self-esteem, I got no interest in it. It's not my journey. It's not what I teach. So that's all I've got to say on it. Really, I love what I do. So I have no interest in it, in that stuff. So to summarize this talk, right, guys, I'm going to finish up now. Get your goals, write your goals down on a piece of paper. Go to the gym, find a routine that you enjoy doing that excites you. Get your fitness right, improve your fitness. Find some dietary habits, healthy eating. There's a lot of healthy stuff that's nice to eat, fun to eat. Figure that out for yourself. Gradually start going out and talking to people. Do those three things: train, find a routine, exercise, diet, socialize. That's probably a year's work for all of you to do for the rest of 2022. You do those things that I've said, and you're going to be a changed person in 2023. You'll be totally different. Most of the things for good mental health for guys and confidence are simple things, but they take courage, they take strength. So I'll just say it again, I'll go over it again. Good mental health for men, these are things I've learned, that I've done. Man has to have goals in his life. Doesn't matter what the goals are, it doesn't matter what other people think. They're his goals, small goals, big goals. He needs a goal, he needs motivation in his life. He needs to exercise regularly, at least 2 to 3 times a week, whether that's swimming, running, weight training, you know, running up hills, cycling, hiking, climbing mountains, whatever it may be, any exercise. And he needs some social time. He needs to speak to his family. He needs a friend. He needs to go to an event. You don't have to have loads of friends, but you need to at least one person you can have a chat with and be vulnerable with and have a good conversation with. And you don't need that much to be happy and have a good mental health. And everything else is a bonus. But if you get those things in place, you're gonna be all right, man. You're gonna be good, and then you can add to that. But if you don't work at those things, then you're not going to be good. To be honest, you ain't going to be good mentally. You're not. And if you're not able to do these things on your own, then you've got to get some help. And you know, my services, my coaching. And I wish I could help everyone, but I'm not qualified to do that. So sometimes you're going to need, even though I'm a professional, you're going to need the help of a doctor, which I'm not, or a mental health worker or a psychologist. You're going to need to speak to those guys. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. That's a smart thing. And you're going to have to, for your own benefit to get well again, you're going to have to get help with that. Obviously, not everybody's going to maybe need that level of help. You might need some coaching with me. Think about that. Or events you can go to. I always say, if you can't afford coaching or mentorship, there's so many free things. I do a lot of free things. I have obviously my paid coaching is expensive. I make no apologies for that whatsoever, because it deserves to be expensive. I worked hard and it's life-changing. But I do a free Fearless event, which is free, 2 hours every month. You can come to that, meet nice people. The YouTube videos are free. These live streams are free. There are other people out there, events. So there's a lot of hope out there. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I like it as well. Anybody wants to get this, Next, I bought this from Next. If anyone wants to get it, I don't mind you copying it. It's a nice jacket. Well, I think that's the case for everyone, self-esteem. That's just not with people, guys with social anxiety. That's just a human insecurity that we all have, but we can improve that by doing the things that I've outlined today. But I see your point. So that's just a common fear, insecurity of external validation. But I think a healthy amount of validation is fine. But when it's unhealthy, that's when it's a problem, like anything. So how do you overcome that? Well, by building your self-esteem. And how do you do that? Well, you need goals. You need to set specific goals for yourself, which are congruent for you. And you need to be accountable to those goals, and you need to take the action. You need to face your fears, and you need to build a habit and a routine. And you do that for a while, and it's going to go up. And the more self-esteem you've got, the less you're not focused on other people giving it to you, because you give it to yourself through your habits and your experiences. Great question, though. I like the question. I'm going to make a video on that, elaborate more. Yeah, you got to go beyond that, We've all had that. We've all had friends who took the mick out of us. I had it as well. And we got to get past those conversations because they're just insecure and they were jealous, and people make mistakes. So that can be a motivation for succeeding. And a big part of that, which is not taking on the victim mentality. I'm not just speaking to RJ Flores, I'm speaking out in general to everybody. We've all gone through stuff in our past. I have. You've known my story, and it's not nice. I'll make a video on this at some point. But if you want to overcome it, you've got to get out of blaming other people, even though it's wrong what they did. You're outlining, yeah, it's wrong. People shouldn't do that. You're not going to change it just by saying, well, I'm not successful because people call me names growing up. That's a bit of a cop out. It's not really going to get you nowhere in life, because we could all do that. It's a get out of jail card. It's too easy to do that. But successful people find a way and say, do you know what? I'm going to take ownership over my life. People have done that to me. I was bullied. I was treated bad. I'm going to succeed now. I'm not going to blame anyone. Then you're empowering yourself. Yeah, it's a common one on the train. I've done videos on that. I'll make more videos. You just got to get more comfortable in public. You got to keep going through that, and you got to get your mind in a place where you're not being self-conscious, and you got to exercise more. Training will help for that. Goal setting, again, time. Doing a lot of things I say on this channel will help for that. I had that though. I overcome that, so I understand how that feels. You can overcome that. All right, guys. I don't want to drag this out too much because it's quite heavy. This stuff, isn't it? It's after an hour, it's great, but it can be quite exhausting. So keep things fun as well, guys. Right? Appreciate all you coming on. Really good questions today, and you guys made a difference. You made even a little difference by coming on, having a chat, and not suffering in silence. And just stick it. I'm going to keep making the videos. Keep following the channel. Subscribe. Try and get down to my Phyllis event or another event. Let me know for any other videos I can do that will help any of you with this challenge. All right, pleasure. Thank you. See you soon.